It's Julia Renee.
And Kendall Aaliyah. Welcome back to the Know Your Power podcast.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about something that we get asked a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And that is how to deal with hunger.
This is something I've actually been getting like more and more. I think just because people see I'm deep in prep and they're like I'm assuming you're hungry. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what do you do? What do you do? And I think for me, understanding it, especially being post-show, helped me so much because I'm the kind of person, weirdly, I am not like a why person. Are you a why person? Do you know what I mean by that?
No.
Like I need to know the exact why this happens and blah, 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 in order for me to move forward with it.
Not typically, but I can say like when I didn't have a good relationship with food, like actually reading like the analytical, like scientific things going on in my body did help me rationally work through it. So sometimes if something is like not a big problem, I'm like, I don't really got to know why, I'll just keep living. But if something is like a big red flag in my life, that's when I like to dive into it and be like, let's understand this more.
Yeah, I think I'm exactly the same way. And that's why I brought this up, because with stuff like, I think it's when I'm struggling with something that I feel like is very emotional for me, like when we were struggling with binge eating, and sometimes when you're struggling post-show with hunger or you're in a diet phase and you get super emotional about it, which is human and normal, getting more logical and analytical and understanding your body or how your brain is working, it's like, oh, like, chill the fuck out. Like, this is normal, and it makes you feel less like something's wrong with me.
No, exactly. It's like once you understand something, it's easier to like know how to work through it. If you have no understanding of like why you're feeling a certain way, then it's kind of like you could try every trick ever, but if you're not tackling the issue, if you don't know what the issue is.
Exactly. You'll just sit there and just be like, oh,
I guess this is how it is.
I guess this is just me. So we're going to be talking about understanding hunger, why it happens, and learning how to kind of work with it instead of feeling like you're in a constant fight. And for me, I do want to do a separate, we've been getting a lot of people wanting actual how to handle post-show. So that's going to be a completely
When I'm post-show, let's dive into it,
That's going to be a completely separate episode, because I feel like I get 1, 2, 3, 5% better each time managing post-show. And this one is by far the best already. So we'll do a separate episode. But let's talk about first hunger hormones. And when I really started learning about this, when I was struggling with my relationship with food, it really helped things make more sense for me.
Too.
So leptin is the fullness signal. So it's kind of like your body's built-in messenger that says, hey girl, like I'm full, and it's made in your fat cells, and its whole job is to basically signal to your brain, hey girl, we got enough energy that's stored. We're good. We're satisfied. We can stop eating. So how it works is that I'm just going to read from this because I need to.
Scientific mode.
When I get in scientific mode, I have to read my outline. So when you have more body fat, you naturally will have higher leptin levels, which makes it easier to feel more satisfied after eating. But when your body fat is lower, or if you've been dieting for like a significant amount of time, your leptin levels drop. So I think we kind of touched on this. I don't know if we were actually recording when we did it, but remember when you went through that first big drop in your calories and you were feeling it that first week? Oh yeah, I did mention
this on the pod, I think.
Okay. And then you were feeling it this first week, and we talked about, okay, next week will be better because you're going to kind of adjust.
Yeah.
And you won't feel as hungry.
It's like mentally and physically, because there really is like a physical like hunger when you do a substantial drop, and then your body does adjust as like your body fat does and as your routine does.
Yes. So that's kind of what came to mind when I was making this outline. But that's when it starts becoming harder to actually feel full, like even after you've eaten enough. So if you've ever thought of like, why am I still feeling hungry even though I just ate? This could be your leptin talking. So whenever you are, let's say, enjoying a meal and you're maybe starting to overeat a little bit, this is when the hunger cues can get a little wackadoodle. especially because you might not have been listening to them for quite some time.
Yep.
So when I was struggling a lot with my relationship with food and binge eating, I was overeating so much to the point of being not just satisfied, but absolutely stuffed. And I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Where now it was like my new satisfied was stuffed.
Yeah.
And those kind of cues were getting all out of whack. The same thing can happen too when you're dieting and you're not listening to your hunger cues, and then afterwards you start overeating.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, sometimes we just get used to it. So if like you're actively ignoring that like initial like leptin, like, hey, I'm kind of full right now type of thing your body's telling you, and you consistently eat past that point, it's like, okay, retracting and trying just to eat to that point, or maybe even under if you are in a dieting phase, it's really hard because like you're just not used to it. You're used to ignoring that sign and pushing past that sign. So like reeling it back in, it does take practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have leptin where you could be ignoring the I'm full signal, which is like being super aware with how your body feels eating food and being present with it. And then we have ghrelin on the other hand, which is the hunger signal, which can be also ignored in a dieting phase when your body is saying, I'm really hungry, but you're a bodybuilder and you can't eat,
That's
it's
the stage I've been in.
Yeah. So you're also ignoring it. So think of, and I love how they made ghrelin the I hungry signal. I hungry. The I'm hungry signal. Such a nasty word, like ghrelin.
I always think of like a little gremlin, and I'm like, the little gremlin in me is hungry.
And also, if that's just a fun way for people to remember that, like, ghrelin is your hunger, think of like a little gremlin in your stomach. So now we have the complete other side, which is ghrelin, and this is like your body's I'm hungry alarm. We all know what this feels like. It's released mostly in your stomach, and it rises right before a meal, and it basically tells your brain like, yo, it's time to eat. So for example, if you're somebody like Kendall and I, who are very routined with our meals at this point, we almost start anticipating, like our body knows, hey, usually you eat at 7 a.m. Usually you eat around noon. You start getting hungry in anticipation for those meals.
I feel like this is one of those things, and like, I don't know this side of animals, but it's like, that's why our dogs and our cats are like, hey, you feed me at this time.
4:30 on the dot,
exactly.
Vision's going, excuse me. Where's my food?
Kovu's food is on a timer, like his dry food. I give him wet food in the morning, and then his dry food throughout the day is like certain hours, and he'll literally start meowing 5 minutes before, like, consistently. And I'm like, you also need to learn that it's coming and that it is automatic.
You need to listen to the Know Your Power podcast.
Yeah. I feel like us as humans are like the same way, but we often get so busy in our day-to-day life that we aren't in tune with that. But it's like, if you eat the same meal at the same time every day, like, your body is expecting that meal at that time.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the other day it was 4:30 and it was Vision's time to eat. And I was just so locked into work that I didn't feed him until 5:30.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there next to me, and he will get mad at me.
Same with Rex.
He starts going,
Rex is the same thing. Or he'll sometimes take his paw and like kind of like whack at me.
Yes,
I'm like,
so
what are we
cute.
doing?
It's so cute. Vision likes to stretch on me.
Aww.
He stretches on me.
He does the
and then he
subtle.
goes, wow. It's so funny.
That honestly, I do the same thing.
I would be, if it was time for my, like,
if someone was in control of my next meal, I'd also be yelping.
I would be mad. I would be mad. I understood. I was like, I get it, dog. I get it. But yeah, so if you've ever, had a meal and you're very routined with it and you're feeling hungry, our body is very smart. It knows. If you've ever noticed that wave of hunger, like before lunch or dinner, or maybe you've gone way too long without eating and then all of a sudden you're hangry, like we also don't want to get to that point.
Yep.
So when you're dieting, we're not listening to our normal hunger cues. We're not listening to the I'm hungry cue. And that's when it can get a little challenging when you start reverse dieting or you go into your post show, because you've had a balance of these hormones being all out of whack. So it's and we'll go deeper into this when we actually do the post-show thing. But knowing this was very helpful for me because I'm like, okay, there's certain points in my life where I have not really listened to these hunger hormones, where when I was really struggling with food and being present with it, my leptin, the I'm full signal, I was ignoring it completely and just being absolutely stuffed. And then when I'm going into my bodybuilding prep, when I'm hungry and Ghrelin, the gremlin is coming out, I'm also not listening to it.
Yeah.
So I'm making it very hard on myself throughout the years.
So to like find like a very balanced, intuitive eating, like you have to be in touch with both of those and read into both of those. And that can be hard if you are intentionally or unintentionally ignoring them for a long time, where that was like, and again, we'll talk more about it when we do that post-show episode. But like when my brother was going through his first prep this year, like I kept trying to explain what these were to him. And I was like, you fully have to ignore it at a certain point in a dieting cutting prep phase, because like the goal again is short term. It's not like you are forever staying in this zone. But to get to that like stage lean level, you need to like kind of just ignore what your body is telling you sometimes. And even on like the physical fatigue front, you have to, which isn't healthy and sustainable. And I'm not like promoting that. It's just part of bodybuilding, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
we're talking about extreme versions of a specific thing.
Yeah.
So that's I even put a note here. I'm like, but all of this is different when you're a bodybuilder.
Yeah. Like,
there's things that you can do as far as managing like the fatigue and stuff. Like there was times where my coach was like, okay, don't train today. It would actually be worse for you. Or there's times where, hey, we do need to feed you a little bit more here because it can bring us 5 steps forward later. But we have been taught, to ignore these for such a long time. So we start to lose trust in our ability to know when I'm hungry, when I'm actually full. And when I was going through kind of like my rewiring process with my relationship with food, I had to really, really slow down and almost like move in slow motion with food and stop and think about, okay, what do I need right now in this moment? Do I need fats? Do I just need like some good protein? Have you ever had that feeling when you're like, I just need a good steak or something?
Especially around my cycle. It's like my body knows.
Always around my cycle.
My body knows my iron is dropping.
Yeah.
Which is like a common thing. Actually, fun little side note. It's like, I think more studies have come out, or more people on social media are just realizing that like eating something like a beef steak, something like that before your period starts can actually help mediate some of those symptoms.
And it's because gonna do that.
Yeah, it's because like majority of us, like your iron's dropping, you are losing blood.
Yes. So you need to refill.
Yes. Or take iron pills, but those always like mess up my stomach.
Stuck.
You
Steak.
Okay?
That's what I was trying to say. I was also stuck.
I thought you were
I was
stuck.
also stuck in the chair.
I thought you were like stuck.
Stuck and steak. But yeah, like if you've ever had that feeling, it's like your body does, that's just like a small level of proof that your body does know what it needs.
Yep.
Same as like, wow, I know that I just need to chug some water right now. Like I come home I know that I am dehydrated right now.
Yep.
So we do know, it's just through diet culture, being a bodybuilder, if that's the route that you chose, we tend to get these all wackadoodle. So there's a process to it.
And some people don't even know it's a thing. So maybe like just by learning about it, you can now be more in tune with it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Julia likes to write a lot on her outlines. I'm looking at it. So one thing that I wanted to talk about is what happens after you're dieting. So you're in a caloric deficit, which is needed in order to cut. It's needed to have a proper weight loss journey, fat loss. Your leptin levels drop. So that means your fullness signal starts to get a little bit quieter. Then your ghrelin rises, which means the hunger signal is loud, and your brain starts to interpret this as like a starvation risk, which drives cravings. And it's honestly very difficult because for one, you're beating yourself up and you're wondering like, why is this happening? I can't control it. It's even more prevalent post show because once you start getting a little bit of more food, maybe even if it's just cleaner, like you get more of your rice, more of your sweet potatoes, like your body's like, finally, we've been wanting this. And that's where people can start feeling, quote unquote, out of control.
Yeah.
And that is the most crucial time to be super in touch with how you are feeling and follow your reverse diet if you have one with a coach. Or if you're self-coaching, taking yourself through a reverse diet.
Yeah, like doing it slowly makes you like slowly become more in touch with these things and these feelings in your body. I feel like when people don't have a plan of like reverse dieting or coming back up to maintenance, like then it feels like a free for all. And you're going from like extreme structure and like certain feelings in your body to now kind of ignoring the fullness feeling and pushing too far in that way.
That's
and like
true.
It's hard to rein it back in from there. Like that's where we've both had like difficulties with our relationship with food. So yeah, definitely like preemptively having a plan can make a lot of these steps easier.
Oh yeah, and we'll talk about that in our episode with post show. Like having a game plan is crucial.
Yeah.
It is so crucial because before I just kind of was like, this time of the year, this 6 months, I'm locked in. This other 6 months, like, we'll see.
Yeah.
And of course, it didn't go well. So I want you guys to think of like, I love this analogy and it really helped me. Think of your hunger hormones as like a thermostat. So normally your leptin and your ghrelin keep things relatively balanced, or at least they should. And then after dieting, the thermostat kind of breaks a little bit. The fullness signal turns way down and the hunger alarm goes way up, and it feels like it's louder than ever. So that's why you can eat more than you did during your cut, but still feel ravenous.
Yep.
Now that you can understand it a little bit better, when I was able to realize that, hey, there's nothing that's wrong with me. Like I'm not broken. I have just done certain things that have led to certain things. And also knowing that biologically, this is just what's happening within my body, helped me move on and go into some of these like practical tips that I want to share with you guys so that you can start implementing them now. I understand that when you are in a bodybuilding prep, a lot of the times my answer to people of like, what do I do when I'm hungry is, sorry, suck it up. Because that is what you have signed up for. That is kind of the name of the game. Now, when we're talking about fatigue with training and stuff like that, that's something that hopefully your coach is kind of watching you with, and you're doing your own recovery work. You can be a little bit more with that, but it's like you can't have free-for-alls with food with prep.
Yeah.
But if you're not on prep and you're just doing a regular cut, like going at a slow and steady pace so that you don't get to that super ravenous point at the very beginning, because it's not necessary. Having calories and macros so that you can fill them and have a little bit more fun with them. And you can change up your meal plan every week because it can be fun and you don't actually have to have chicken, broccoli, and rice all of the time.
Yep.
And I know that a lot of my prep, I was talking about eating my cod and my cucumber like over and over and over again. But we're talking about I need to manage these so closely because I can't have any bloat on stage. This is the food that I've been eating for, 5 or 6 months. And I know that this works for my stomach. If I start changing it now, what if I start bloating? So that's where that comes from.
Yep.
But other things that really helped was having the awareness first. So I learned, like, you have to start to learn to notice when your body is actually signaling things to you. And if it's coming from a place of emotion, which is a big one for me, boredom, stress is also
a big one for me.
Stress is a big one for me. Or is it just a habit? Like if you know, every time that I sit down at night and I start watching a show, I might not even really be hungry.
Yep.
But I am in the habit of having sniggety snacks at night.
And even in
just
prep,
like Vision is in the habit of 4:30 every day wanting to have his food. It's a habit. He knows my routine. He knows his routine.
Sometimes it's like a comfort thing too, where like even if you are still in a cutting phase and you're listening to this and you're like, I'm trying to navigate hunger, it's like try to get out of that area where sometimes it's just because I'm by the kitchen. So I'm thinking about food because my couch is next to my kitchen. So sometimes it's like, okay, let me go watch this on like my TV upstairs instead and like break that routine and become aware of like, this is a pattern and a comfort thing and an accessibility thing and not an actual hunger cue right now.
That's so true. Yeah. That is a lot of times for me. The next one is getting enough protein and getting enough fiber in. Protein and fiber are going to be your best friends here. They slow digestion. It keeps you fuller for longer. It's going to make it easier for you to manage your hunger and stop thinking about food constantly because you're going to be fuller for a lot longer. So if you're able to, add more foods that are higher in fiber into your diet. Of course,
there's the fiber hidden. It's speaking through you.
There's the fiber. Of course, if you want, you can always take a fiber supplement, of course. But one of my favorite things to do is implement foods into my meal plan that are higher in fiber. Yep. Whether that's like, okay, I'm going to add some more beans here, or I'm going to add chickpeas, or I'm going to have some vegetables that are higher in fiber here so that you can get it throughout the day because most of the time we're not having enough. No. Humans are not having enough fiber, and we're definitely not having enough magnesium in our
yeah. That one I do got to take. Yes. I'm not eating enough.
Yes. And if you're somebody that's also using like a lot of protein powder or like protein substitutes with like protein bars, like protein this, protein that, swapping it for whole foods can help you feel so much fuller for longer.
For sure. And then the act of eating it goes a long way too.
It really does. Like in my prep, whenever I am starting to get to the point of being super hungry, that's one of the first things that I do. All of those things are taken out and I swap it for whole protein. Like last night, that's what I did. Last night, I was so hungry after my leg day because it was a really hard leg day. And I was feeling myself getting very ravenous to where I wanted to eat food before my food was even ready. Yeah. So I just like calmed down for a second. It was like, okay, which one of these proteins can I choose that's going to keep me fuller for longer because I know I'm ravenous? And I was like, I'm going for the chicken breast. Yeah. So I went for the chicken breast and then I ate my vegetables first to get my fibers in. Smart. Then I ate my protein, get my protein in, keeps me fuller for longer. Then I ate my carbs, which is like the insulin spiking thing when normally your first gut instinct is, I'm going to go for the carbs first. And then you're like, I always am more ravenously hungry if I do that. And I've been eating in this pattern in this improvement season because my hunger it did spike after the show. It has been very intentional with me monitoring myself and being very in tune with how I'm feeling. So every night I'm just like
veggies first and then
I'm eating second. In this pattern. It's really, really helped.
I think I unintentionally do the same thing where I kind of go like veggies, protein back to veggies. Is that weird? Yeah. Where I'll eat like most of them, but then I'll save some to have with the protein.
Yeah,
anyway.
No, I totally get that.
Because I always put everything in like a bowl. And just a reminder, just because so many people like drastically undereat protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is just a really easy rule of thumb to remember. So if you weigh 150 pounds, shooting for around 150 grams of protein throughout your day, track if and when you can. That way, even if it's just like a one-off tracking day, so you actually understand, am I actually getting enough protein? Am I getting enough fiber? Because if it's always a guessing game or super inconsistent, then your body's not going to be able to like regulate and get that response. But one of like the biggest things is when a client is like, I'm eating the calories, but I'm starving. And it's like, okay, looking at your actual macros, yes, you're hitting the calorie goal, but like you're so under on your protein. If you get that up, that's going to keep you fuller in between those meals. It goes a long way.
It seriously is. Yeah. So definitely what Kendall said, if you have no idea any of these numbers, even just like a ballpark, just do yourself like track for a day and really see where these numbers are lining up. And you might see like, wow, I'm drastically under eating on protein, or I'm getting like -5 grams of fiber in a day. Maybe I should
negative.
Maybe I should do that. One of my favorite things is to like make a big like bowl, almost like a Chipotle bowl or like a kava bowl or something, and add in things that way that are a lot more filling.
I'm the same way.
Another thing is consistent meal timing.
Yep.
Keeping your meals on a regular schedule can help regulate your ghrelin and your hunger hormones. If you eat at like wildly different times during the day, there's times where you're going super long without eating. That's one of the big ones. A lot of big ones our clients struggle with is like, oh, I'm just at work and I just like don't eat. Of course, once you finally get home, you are going to be ravenous.
Yep.
Because what happens with me, when I get like in the zone with work or I'm doing a bunch of things, I forget because I'm so present in the work that I'm doing. I don't have time to think about food. And then I get off the computer and I'm like, I have time to think about food now. And it's the only thing that I'm thinking about. So try to keep a consistent schedule. And this will actually help you because your metabolism is going to start regulating a little bit more. And actually it'll be a lot better for you because now you're actually going to be hungry for your meals, which is actually a good sign.
And sometimes that can like also mess up your fullness radar because like when you do eat, I know sometimes if I go a really long time and I'm like, I'm super hungry and I make a huge bowl and then I get full really fast actually. And it's because like my stomach was just so full of nothing and air. So that's not great to do to your digestive tract also. So like just keeping them regularly spaced. Like I'm someone I love breakfast food. I don't love eating super early, but just making sure like once I break my fast, like it is like clockwork every few hours so that I'm not ever getting back to that point where it's like, oh, I've been fasting for another like 6 hours today. It's like, just try to keep it consistent. Get a lunch box, a lunch bag, bring it to work with you. If you could even just like simple little like calorie dense things throughout your day too. Like if you don't have time for a full meal, like bringing the protein shake with you, bringing the protein powder, like set yourself up for success in that way so that you're not going your whole work day with nothing. Cause I know so many people do that.
Yeah. I had a call with one of our clients the other day and she was really struggling with hitting her protein. I think it was hitting her protein. And she was like, oh, no. This is what it was. She was actually feeling like, why am I feeling so ravenous at the end of the day?
Yeah.
So we broke down like all of her meals and we realized that her meal number 2 and her meal number 3, and her meal 2 is like her lunch and her meal 3 is like post-workout and she works out in between. There was so many hours from meal 2 to meal 3 and I was like, that's why.
Yep.
I was like right there. So we readjusted everything and we actually added a snack for her pre-workout meal. Yeah. Because she's going straight from her job to the gym. And I was like, girl,
which so many people do.
I was like, by that time, the carbs from meal 2, they're gone. You have no energy for your training. So let's add a little snack here. And let's make it something that's like quick digesting. Let's get it from maybe rice cakes and a banana or and a tablespoon of peanut butter. Or maybe like, I was like, do you like bagels? She's like, yeah. I was like, Dave's Killer Bagel. You can add a tablespoon of peanut butter or maybe some honey or something, depending on how much room you have for carbs in your macronutrient breakdown. And it's going to make your training session so much better. And then this is going to help you for later on to not feel so hungry at the end of the night.
You're not getting as depleted from your workout.
And you're not so depleted at your workout. And her training sessions have been so much better. Good. And her hunger is way more manageable in the evening. So just take a look at that. Good general rule of thumb is anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours a day. I have 5 meals a day. You know, there's some people, bodybuilders that have 6. If it's only realistic for you to have like 3 and a snack, find what works for you, but still space them out pretty well. Another big one is stress management. Stress will crank up your hunger tenfold. When you're stressed, your body pumps out cortisol, which is not only going to magnify your cravings, but it is also going to disrupt your hunger hormones. So learning to manage stress is so important. I know for me, there's people who they get stressed, they don't eat. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people. I get stressed. The first thing I think about is food. What kind of person do you think you are?
Okay, I was going to say, like, I used to definitely be quick to food. And now I think just from, like, literal practice, I'm not. Okay. Now I won't eat. If I'm really anxious, I get so nauseous and I, like, can't eat. But then obviously the reverse. It's like once the anxiety lowers, now I'm super hungry from not listening to my body all day. So
true.
It's a lose.
You're like, okay, now I'm not stressed, but I'm ravenously hungry because I've stressed myself
I'm like,
out so much.
Stress does so much to our bodies. We're like, that is the main focus right now for me in prep, is like my coach's only feedback was like, be as stress free and sleep as much as you can. And I was like, heard. And it does such good things to your body. And I feel like that's just like evidence that we should all like prioritize self-care and de-stressing and lowering cortisol levels above some of the other practices that we feel like we need to do. Or like you were saying with like sometimes in prep you can manage fatigue, and it's like listen to your body in those ways, not just on the food front and the hunger front.
Even if it's just resting your body. I think something that was kind of eye-opening for me, I think it was you who talked about it with gymnastics. Remember? I don't know where we were when we were talking about that, but you were saying that you like never rested, but in between your going from like thing to thing, your coach was telling you like, rest your body. What was that?
They were, okay, so I trained like an hour and a half away from where I lived. So I would like go to practice sometimes before school. They wanted to homeschool me. Like it was a very intensive gymnastics program.
You were like going to be an Olympian or in the Olympics.
They produced some really good athletes out of that gym. It was a very like well-oiled machine. But I would leave school early to go there again. And then by the time I got back home after these like 4.5 hour practices, it'd be like 10 p.m. and I'd have to wake up at like 6 a.m. for school the next day. So yeah, I remember voicing that, and they like brought in like almost kind of a therapist, I guess, like a coach therapist, whatever.
That's actually really
called.
cool.
So cool and so smart. They brought in a nutritionist as well, which like just honestly taught us so much at a young age, which I'm appreciative for. But yeah, that was one of those things where I was like, I can only get this amount of sleep. Like you're telling me to rest more. I got no time to rest, you know?
You're
and
like,
I feel
you guys literally are working me to the bone.
I feel like so many of us, like even in our adult lives, like work can take over sometimes. And before I know it, I'm working until like 2 a.m. and I'm like, I got to get up at 7 for cardio. It's just about like resting where you can in your day. So she was like, even if you're just laying flat and even if you're awake, even if you're like listening to some music, something calm, like
I did that
a
yesterday
comfort
before
podcast.
I trained, and I thought about you, and that's why I brought it up. I was like, I'm not going to sleep because I still have to go and train, but I was like, I am resting my body. Yeah. And it also reminds me of my dad when we were little. My dad actually wasn't resting his eyes. He would end up sleeping.
My dad's a big napper
but
too.
We would be like, Dad, like we would want to be hanging out with him, and he'd be like falling asleep. And we'd be like, Dad, are you sleeping? And he'd be like, no, I'm resting my eyes.
And I really do that sometimes.
But I'm like, no, really, because my eyeballs hurt. Like I've been alert all day. I'm very expressive with my eyeballs, and it really hurts sometimes. But like, I love that, just resting your body and like sitting in one spot, even if you're at your desk and you just, let me just relax in this chair for a second. I love
taking a break, even if it's like a 5-minute, like let me get out of my office for a second. If you do work from home, or like if you work in an office setting and you've been like literally dialed into your computer for hours, like go take a little lap around the office, just like removing yourself from the stressor or from like the project you're working on or something like that. Where if I'm doing like a whole bunch of tedious work, it's so nice to like give your mind and body a break for a second. And sometimes that's all you need to like actually feel more present.
I used to not ever do that because in my mind, I know there's a lot of people that also have this belief that I can't break this focus. Like I have to just keep going and finish this task. And actually, if I step away, it's actually going to be worse. But if you step away for like a second and you go and do any of those things that Kendall was saying, you will come back and actually be better off then and later, because you will have better focus, especially if you eat.
Yes.
And you
take a break and
take a sip of water, like rest for just a second, you can come back and feel a lot better.
Yeah.
So now I have to like force myself to do that. And the last one is actually having like a reverse diet or a maintenance phase. So after you're done with your cut, your body needs time to kind of normalize, not only normalize your leptin and your ghrelin levels from like not really listening to your hunger hormones, or your hunger hormones are all out of whack at this point. So that's where like a reverse diet into a solid maintenance phase is super important. So that's basically slowly, gradually increasing food so that you don't just throw the kitchen sink at yourself. Like if you go from eating in a deficit to eating thousands of calories and you keep at this pace, of course, you're going to start gaining weight. You might see your body change a little bit too. So if you are coaching like yourself right now and you're taking yourself through a cut, you can still gradually do this on your own.
For sure.
So, but you just definitely have to be a little more, it has to be more tedious and like holding yourself accountable and being like, okay, so say at the end of your cut, you were at, let's say 1,600 calories or something like that. And you're doing this on your own. Then maybe the next week you're like, okay, let's bump it up between 150 and 200. And then let's bump it up. But managing and monitoring your weight still and doing check-ins with yourself.
Monitoring your progress too, because like I've even like some of our clients will go into a reverse and lose weight. And it's like sometimes your body's responding super well. And then that's an indicator of like, oh, we can actually bump this up a lot more. Like you're hungry, your metabolism's responding, your body's seeing like good recomposition right now. Lean into that. Let's push like a little more carbs and see what that does for like your workouts and your energy and how your body responds. So, but if you're not tracking any of that stuff, then you have no idea. And then it's so easy to get in our head and be like, I've lost all my progress because I'm eating more. And it's like, oh no, your body can actually really thank you for eating more and going into a reverse properly. But if you don't do it properly, it's harder mentally, not physically, because physically you can always get back on track. But sometimes mentally it feels like, oh, I've lost it and I can't get back to where I was. And like you always can.
That's why it is good to have a coach throughout this process as well. And a lot of bodybuilders, like when they first get started, will only have a coach when they're prepping, but not afterwards.
I'm so guilty of that. And it has never ended well.
Same. But even if you're not a bodybuilder and you're just going on a regular cut, working with a coach to help take you through that reverse diet too, so that all of those little things that you have to monitor on your own, you have someone watching like that has your back and taking you through that.
Yeah.
And bumping up calories when necessary or keeping them the same when necessary. So if you're doing that on your own, go through that phase. And then eventually get yourself back to more of a maintenance level calories.
It's worth it.
Yes.
The slow, tedious, not fun work is always worth it.
Oh yeah. Like I'm still not at my maintenance level calories and we're, I think, almost 2 months post show. And that's because Coach and I have been going slow and steady, but that's also why I've been able to maintain a good physique.
Well, there's a crazy, what's her name? Gianna? I think she's like a well-known, like she does YouTube, she does social media stuff, and she's a competitor, and she shared how many carbs, and I'm gonna butcher it, so this is so wrong, but like she's been in a reverse, and I swear this girl's looking leaner and leaner since her show day, which was like months ago now. She did like the last national show, and her carbs are like up in like the high 300s, 400 grams, but like her body's just responding so well to that. So I feel like that's such a good reminder of like, if you do things gradually,
if you do it correctly, you can maintain a good body composition.
So if you love food, think long term.
Yes.
Like, oh, this is going to, like, I'm going to be allowed to have more flexibility by doing the work right now and slowly building up to that point, because then your metabolism's going to adjust alongside you, and then you can handle more food and your body responds well to that more food.
You basically, by going at it at this kind of pace and slow and steady, you can maintain a really good physique and the results that you had while having a lot more food.
Yeah.
So my goal,
lifting more and
in this season is like, okay, if I do this reverse diet and if I do slow and steady, even though sometimes I just want to eat 4,000 calories a day or whatever, if I can have the physique that I have now and eat towards more my maintenance, for me could be around like 2,000 or 2,300.
Yeah.
That would be the sickest thing ever. Not only because I will look exactly in a way that I like, I'll be able to lift so heavy, and it'll make my next
That's
cut
what I was going to say,
that much quicker.
Yeah.
And I can
easier.
start my cut at a higher amount of calories first, where we're cutting from 2,300 instead of, I don't know, like 1,600 and then cutting from there. So doing that work, it's annoying and it is tedious. And if you have a coach to help you.
I'm like already mentally prepping myself
oh
for
yeah, you
post
got
show.
it. You got it. Also, we can do that for you.
Yeah, I was like, just hire us.
Just say, Kendall and I can do that for you.
I'll tell you how much to eat.
And this is what I always say to the girls, because we do, like, I have calls with our clients whenever they're ready for like a new goal and a new challenge. And we have a lot of girls that are moving more into a reverse diet now from their cut that they did. And I'm like, I got your back. Just know that we're going to do this slow. We're going to do it steady. This is what you might be feeling during this time. But remember, message me whenever you can. Like, I have your back. And if you follow this, like, this can actually be so incredible. So I hope this episode helped you guys just to understand that you're not broken. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. This is all very, very normal. Biologically, there are certain things that you can do to help like mitigate the hunger. If you're a bodybuilder, sorry, just
real quick. I was like, I can't.
Sorry.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, must be
nice. You can
eat
more volume of vegetables.
So that's what I was going to add is like water intake. So many of us think we're hungry when we're actually thirsty. That's a common thing. Like typically when we wake up first thing in the morning, a lot of us are really dehydrated from not drinking anything all night. And sometimes you're like, whoa, I'm so hungry because your body feels so empty. So always remember to just like also, as much as we're like talking about the food side of things, make sure you're hydrating properly.
100%. If I'm ever, one thing that I noticed a lot in this reverse diet is the feeling hungry immediately after I've already eaten. So I give myself, okay, you're going to go and do this, and then you're going to wait 10 minutes, or like, okay, go change the laundry first and then wash your dish. And then if you're still hungry, then we'll eat some more food. And then I also drink some water. And then most of the time I let it pass and I'm like, oh, I'm not hungry.
Yeah, sometimes your body just needs a second to digest.
Just give yourself a second, okay? But I hope this helped you guys. And as always, we love you all so much. And you are more powerful than you think.
Bye.